Welcome back to another video. Now it's been a while, I've been working hard, I've got loads of new business ventures going on, but today I want to talk about equipment, and then once you've got your equipment, how do you then start your production? And I'm going to teach you all of these things under the budget of £1,200 and then how to get that ball rolling in terms of clients. So let's get started. My name's Gelder. Now the common question filmmakers and videographers always get is, what equipment do you use? But we all know equipment is irrelevant. The equipment is there to help support and create your vision, but it's not always needed. You do not need the best equipment to create a client base. So this is why I'm here and I'm making this video. Although 1,200 sounds like a lot, this is a very cheap price range to get all the equipment you need to start up your video production company. So now let me talk about cameras for a second. You do not need the most expensive camera in the world, so I've got a list of really good cameras that will get you clients and produce that high quality image that you want in 2020. Saying that though, there's also phones out there that create just as good image as possible. So I'm going to give you a list of these cameras, but just please bear in mind, if you cannot afford these kind of cameras, use your phone. So the first camera I have is the Canon 80D. This is a fairly new camera, and it's got really good autofocus tracking on it. It's also got a flip screen which helps with the shots, low angle shots that I mentioned, and getting other different alternatives where it's going to be hard to see the screen. This price range for this camera with a kit lens comes at £780. Now this is a camera and a lens for £780. That is all you need really and truly to get things rolling, as well as an SD card. You need an SD card. You can then start going to businesses and try getting clients straight off the back from buying this camera with the kit lens. The next camera I have is the Canon 5D, and this used to be a very expensive camera at the time, but by looking online you can get some pretty decent used ones for around 300 to 500, and that's just for the body, bearing in mind. But this camera is very good. It's one of the main Canon cameras everyone used to have about 5 to 8 years ago. This is something that I really wanted until I moved to Sony. So Canon 5D Mark 1, 2 or 3 is really good, and they're actually all within the price range. Third we have the Canon 550D. Now this camera is what I brought up on. This camera is what started my business. So I have a very close heart to this camera. It's very cheap on the market. You can get it for like £200, maybe even less, with a kit lens as well. There is no problem with this camera whatsoever. It doesn't have all the best features, it doesn't have the best slow-mo, but it gets the job done, you know, to get those clients that you need. You can get 18 to 135mm kit lens with it, which is great to have because you want that dynamic range when you're shooting. You want that wide shot, and then you want those close-ups. I always suggest getting the zoom lens for your first lens just because you have that range that you need. Coming up to the last two cameras, these are a bit more expensive and they've got higher spec qualities, so just bear that in mind. These cameras are actually fairly new and they're very, very good with the price range that they're actually priced at. So if you're looking for a little bit more of a fancy camera, these two are the cameras to kind of look in. So we have the Sony a6300. This is just for the body. It's around 500 to 600 pounds. So this camera is a mirrorless camera. It's great for 4K. It does 120 frames per second HD. I really believe that this camera is a great starting point if you have that budget to work with. Although saying that, buying something at this high price and the budget being around 1,200, it does kind of take a big chunk of your budget. So just bear that in mind when you're starting out, because the camera is not actually all that, it just has better specs, that's all. And last we have the GH4 body only. You can get this around £800. It's probably second hand, so there might be a few faults with it, or it might have a few scratches, but it still works in perfect condition, which is all you need. You just need a camera that's going to set you out there, and the GH4 is a very, very, very good camera to start out with. Speaking about bodies and needing lenses, this is what I'm going to move on to now. So when I started out, I got the Canon f1.8 50mm lens. Pretty sure everyone had this at some point in their career. It's a very good camera to have. I mean, it's a very good lens to have. It's a very nice lens to have. It's quite clean for the price range. You can get this lens from around £80 to £100, maybe even cheaper if it's second hand. Secondly, we have the Tamron. Tamron is a great company to buy from anyway because they're very cheap with what they produce, and if you're starting out, they have some brilliant lenses that are priced around £50 to around £300, and all of these lenses around this price range are very, very, very well done. I would also suggest you're looking into Sigma lenses as well. They're very cheaply priced, reasonably priced I'd say. You can probably get a good Sigma lens from around £100 to around £300. And depending on what lenses you want and what you get, it boosts up pretty quick in terms of the price. It depends what camera you go for as well. So just bear all these in mind. So Tamron, Sigma, Canon do very good cheap lenses, and it's a great starting point to get out there. Now moving on to equipment, we want those steady shots, so I always suggest people to look into fly cams or glide cams. These two are very cheap for what they are. You can get them actually very cheap. I remember getting one from around 120 quid on eBay. They're a bit more fairly priced now, I mean, because I think the quality bills got better. When I got it, it was very plastic. I think it's actually metal now, so it's gone up to 180 last time I checked online, but I'm pretty sure there will be some second hand ones that you can get for cheap from around 100 to 150 pounds. So that's always a great start point. Flycam or Glidecam, the links will be in the description. You obviously need an SD card. Typically you want something that's got high bit speed, so 100 bit per second or anything like that is great. It's a bit of an overkill for these kind of cameras, but it's always good to invest in something like this early, so then when you upgrade a new camera, you haven't got to really upgrade the SD card, because 100 above is great. Moving on to another piece of equipment, tripod. Tripod is always key to have, and you want a really good tripod, but the really good tripods are around 200 above, so ideally you're probably going to look for a photography tripod, and that's just a standard tripod. This lets you get the shots that you need. That's static. You can get these from around 20 to 50 pounds, and it gets the job done. You just got to cheat it sometimes, and as the more you do, the more better you're going to get with your equipment. So remember, it's not the gear, it's about the idea. And then coming on to the last few stuffs, you want to capture sounds, you want good sound design, especially when you're just starting out, because not many people know about sound design when they're starting out, and if you can capture onto that pretty quick, then that's a very, 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 very good selling point for you as a business and you as a filmmaker. Suggesting a few, Rode is always a go-to. The older version of the mics are very, very good, and they've got cheaper, so they're around 50 quid. But the new ones are a bit more expensive, but also the quality is nuts. So you're looking from around £50 to about £200 within that price range. But I suggest getting a one middle range, let's just say £100, just to capture that decent quality, but it's not going to be outstanding quality, but it gets the job done. Another decent one that I came across was Boyo PVM, and that's around £50. That's just a really cheap microphone that does a pretty decent job at what you need it for anyway at starting out. So just look into these. All of these stuff will be linked in the description, so please make sure you check them out. And if you're starting out, it will be priced around 1,000 to 1,200. It all depends on what camera you want. But remember, the camera is not the selling point here. It's about getting the equipment that you need and then capturing and telling stories. That's what a business wants. They want you to capture what their unique selling point is and putting that into a vision. And you're probably wondering, now I've got all this equipment, how am I going to start out? Social media, it's free and it's fun to do. All I would say to people is, if you're starting out, jump straight onto social media. Jump on your Facebook, jump on Instagram, jump on TikTok, jump on LinkedIn, jump on Twitter if you want to, and just share all your work on these platforms, and just, you know, follow people that are in your field or business owners. You just got to be smart with what you do with social media. Instead of just adding your normal friends, you want to add people that you actually want to work with, and work will come your way just through social media. One thing I didn't mention is getting a program, but if you have Windows or if you have a Mac, you've either got Windows Movie Maker, which isn't the best, but it gets the job done if you're just doing simple cuts. And you've also got on Mac iMovie, which also is a very decent software that you can get. You know, you can actually do work on there. It's way better than Windows Movie Maker. So if you're on a Mac, you've actually got a bit more of an advantage, and it allows you to do more things such as add music tracks, add text, do a few different effects. Them two softwares are free. They usually come on your PC or laptop. But if you're wanting to invest into a proper editing program, then I suggest Premiere Pro, because I always do that, or DaVinci Resolve, because that's actually free to download. Premiere Pro you do actually have to pay for. Resolve is actually free. There is a paid version, but you don't really need that paid version because the free version is just as good. That's how you start your business up from around 1,000 to 1,200, around that price range. And I wish you all the best. I hope this helped, and I hope it gets some of you people out there and businesses running. And if it does, please drop me a message, because I would love to hear the feedback that you have got from this video, or if I've made you just think, oh well, this is actually not bad to start out, I'm going to try it. I'd love to know how it's going or how it goes. So yeah, please keep in the loop. That's it for me. I hope you enjoyed. Please make sure you like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.